A man is going to look at that and say, you know what? I do need to pay her bills. Ladies, this is what you should ask yourself before you ask your man, that man, because he ain't yours yet. Ask yourself, what am I bringing to him to ease or make his life better? That's what value is. If you can't answer that question, you don't deserve anything yet. What has that man said in the way that you bring him value? If it's only, let me take you to dinner, let me take you to eat, let me do, why does he want to keep serving you if there's no service back? It is the law of reciprocity. What can you do to support that man? And that is the problem with these modern day women. It is all I, me, take. You got to be careful who you give to, because takers don't know when to stop.
Okay.
I am tired. These people they're ruining this generation. It's literally ruining the generation. And then little girls are glamorizing and fetishizing.
I mean, they got Sexy Red as a role model, girl.
Oh.
When I was living in Atlanta, I ran into a little financial crisis, right? So my homegirl at the time let me crash at her spot until I moved to my spot, which took a couple months. So we had smacked once, but we wasn't smacking like crazy because I ain't like her like that. Like, I liked her, but I ain't like her. You know what I'm saying? I needed somewhere to be, somewhere to go at the time. So anyway, she come home one day for a long day of work, whole 10-hour shift. Boy, I'm in the crib, stretched out on the couch, socks off, air on, fan on me, good movie on, TV remote beside me, good food and drinks right here, right? Shawty walk in the house, look at me and say, you a little too comfortable not to be paying no bills. So I'm like, nah, baby, you know what I'm saying? I was just waiting for you to get here. I got a good movie we can watch, you know what I'm saying? How your day been, all that. As I'm saying all this, she done cut me off and said, and you ain't smacking me. She didn't say smack. She said another word, but I can't say it. So I'm like, nah, baby, it ain't like that. She cut me off again. You don't like women or something? What's wrong with you? Wait, better yet, when you moving to your spot? I knew right then it was time for me to go. Baby said, I'm too comfortable not to be paying no bills. Only me, bro. Only me. Okay.
Welcome back to the channel. You see the information on the screen, so you know what I'm about. So let's get into it. All right, so, you know. Okay, let's get into this money thing. All right, because this is really what this is about. This is about money thing, people spending on the other person. And, you know, I know a lot of people, I actually saw some of the comments in the first video where, you know, some people were saying, you know, they were kind of tired of these topics. They're tired of going around in a circle. And I'll be honest with you, I'm tired of them too. You know, for me, I want to make sure that we continue to have balance, that we continue to try to even some of this thing, you know, some of this stuff out. And I think people still don't really recognize what side of the fence they're on. And then the second video, what's really good about this video is the comments. And some of the comments, you know, are basically saying, dude, what's wrong with you? You know, and I guess that's the point, right? And so what I look at a lot of times, and the first lady actually talked about it, it goes into being a taker, right? Versus being a giver. And see, we in our society, depending upon who you're watching, is how you're going to feel about who is the giver and who is the taker, right? If you are a woman and you're watching a lot of videos where people are beating up on men, they're always talking bad about men, they're saying men out here ain't about nothing, then you're going to believe that most women are givers and most men are takers. And if you're a person, you know, a guy or whatever, and I know some women are jumping on more onto the male podcast, and you are watching all of these people showing these women out here who are taking, right? And are treating men bad, and they don't want to go to the Cheesecake Factory and different things like that, then you're going to believe that all women are takers and that men are givers. And see, this is why I'm always telling you all that beyond the non-negotiables, there's really not much difference between men and women. And the gender war that's been going on really has more to do with what videos you personally are watching. And I always try to encourage everyone to really pay attention to what you're watching and why are you allowing that to be in your spirit. Because we can all say that we don't pay attention, this is just for fun, I don't really care about this, blah, blah, blah. But sooner or later, all of those things will take hold inside of you. All right. And that's one of the things, like I say, I know some people, they don't believe in the enemy or the devil or whatever. And that's fine. You don't have to believe in that, but it will influence you over time. If you look at everything that has to do with advertisement, if you study advertisement, if you know anything about that world, marketing, these people will tell you, oh yeah, it works. In the marketing community, there is no such thing as bad advertisement. Even recently, okay, with a lot of things that have happened, with a guy, P. Diddy, depending upon when you're watching this video. But right now at this moment, there's a big trial going on with P. Diddy, right? And as soon as that started to get a lot of play, what happened was every piece of music that he produced started to get replayed. So it basically means that even though people are saying he did this very bad thing, and I'm not here to judge him because that's not what this channel is about, but he's making money right now. Another thing happened. There was a song that popped up in a movie recently. I'm not going to go into that movie because that movie's rated R. But this particular song popped up in that movie, and before you know it, that song, started to get more play on the radio. It started to get, more requests. It started to get, even people watching the old music video, right? So what we see is that there's a direct correlation to what people are seeing and then what they're interested in. And again, it might not be you. This might not even affect you at all, but it affects most people. And because of this, it really does matter what you watch and what you believe. Because I've always said it, the biggest problem out here is that you have givers and you have takers, right? And the givers are always out here, and the problem with them is it's a two-edged sword that goes against the givers. First, a lot of givers have not put in the effort themselves to be in a position where people tend to find them to be more desirable, all right? And that's really hard for a lot of givers to hear because it's painful. And I understand it, okay? It is painful. But it's like when people talk about, who should chase who. Again, if you're really playing around with the gender war, and if you spent time on both sides, you'll see videos that men put up, and they will say, hey, guys, this is how you make her chase you. And then with women, they'll do the same thing. They'll put up a video and they'll say, ladies, this is how you get him to chase you. But see, in reality, what really happens is the people that we perceive to be more attractive, we perceive to be more desirable based off whatever it is that we, see as value, those people get chased. And then the other people are chasing them, right? And a lot of times the people that are being chased are not givers, they're takers. So what happens is people end up in these situations a lot of times where someone's a giver, and because they really haven't taken care of themselves, they don't really have their style going on. Maybe they feel that they're too short or they're too tall. A woman might feel, well, I don't have the curves, that men like or whatever it is. And so now what they've done is they're putting themselves in a situation where they're not in a position and they just feel like they're constantly chasing after the other person. And when you're chasing after another person, what do? You're trying to find ways to get that person to stop and pay attention to you. And when you're trying to get that person to stop and pay attention to you, you're like, oh, have this. Oh, I'll take care of this. Oh, you don't have any place to stay. You can stay with me. And it puts them in this constant position where they are chasing and they're giving, but they're not giving in the way that is true love. They're giving in a one-sided situation, right? And so that's the first edge of the sword. And then the other edge of the sword is that even when you find healthy givers, many of them find themselves in a situation when they run into another giver, there's not a lot of chemistry there. All right. And I've talked a lot about, female sexual chemistry. There's even a male sexual chemistry. But, to sum it up very quickly, is that a lot of the female sexual chemistry, it goes back to a woman's first 2 or 3 sexual encounters. And for a lot of men, it's just about how much he's attracted to you. Because a lot of men will bypass chemistry because they're just so attracted to you. All right. So that's generally, some of the key elements. I put some other videos out there. You can go check them out if you are concerned. And there are some that are in the description that you can go check out. But one of the things that, you'll see is that as people are going through this process, a lot of times 2 givers may bump heads because both of them are trying to give. And it seems very odd to the other giver, to 2 givers, because one is like, I want to give to you. And the other person's like, no, I want to give to you. And no, I want to give to you. No, I want to give to you. And it creates this issue where the givers just decide they're not going to date each other because they don't want to fight this fight. And to be honest, what I encourage 2 givers to do, and I generally encourage in most of the videos, is that for a man to give first. Okay. So if you're a woman and you're a giver, okay, what I encourage you to do is to hold back the giving at least for the first 3 weeks of the relationship. You can support him. You can talk about his dreams. You can encourage him with words, stuff like that. Don't be mean, okay? But don't give of anything extra. Like I've said it before, if I'm dating a woman and she just refuses to give in the things that I need, okay, or that I desire, and she doesn't do it naturally, then more than likely we're not going to work. And I've gotten a lot of feedback. I've gotten a lot of people that are hating on me in the comments because of it. Because again, this is some of the things that people talk about. Okay, so if I'm dating a woman and she's just a normal, natural, just a normal, what I call normal baseline type of woman, because y'all know I talk about the personalities over here, the heart type, the thinking type, and the instinct type. Well, if she's more heart or thinking based, then I am believing that she is going to help me by even doing things like helping to clean up my apartment, different things like that. Maybe, cook me a meal, blah, blah, blah. And like I said, there's going to be always women that push back on that. But the bottom line is I always tell men, to fix tail lights and maybe tires and do different things like that. So it does keep it balanced. But when a woman comes into my life, right, and the first 2 or 3 weeks, I'm not looking for her really to do anything. She can talk to me, she can support me, via conversation. But really after that, I'm not really looking for her to do too much of anything, right? But there is a point, like I say, generally around the 3rd or 4th week, if we're together that long, that I am looking for her to start to do some of these other things naturally. If I come in, she comes over to, my place and I'm tired and she sees that it is, it needs to be cleaned up, and there's small things she can do and she doesn't do them. Instead, she just plops down and she just watches TV or is like, okay, when we going to eat? We ordering DoorDash? If she has that attitude, that's not a giver, right? Now, it's different if she says, oh, let me order DoorDash or let me get up and run to the store, buy some things, or even run to Chick-fil-A or wherever it is, a pizza place, and get us something, and then I'll come back. Because, see, that's being a giver. But there are plenty of people that will 100% take, okay? But again, I think the man has to give first because that is leadership. Men are called to leadership. So men have to give first. And so this is why I always encourage women in the very beginning, if he ain't doing nothing on the first 2 or 3 dates, then why are you hanging out with him? But again, it's about the passion that you have for said person. If a woman thinks that this man is so attractive, that he is so awesome, that I'm so lucky, oh my gosh, to be with him. I would just, oh my gosh. When you're like that, okay, you're setting yourself up for failure. Okay? Because you're already blind to what this man might do to you and how he might hurt you. And it's the same thing with men. A lot of men think, dang, she's so fine. Man, oh, ooh, yo, I'm so glad oh my gosh, man, she's like an Instagram model. Again, you're so infatuated that you're not seeing all of her problems. Okay? And then what it does is it opens you up, for a situation where she'll take advantage of you. And I've always encouraged you all to keep notes. If you can't do anything else, keep notes. So in the first, 30 to 60 days or so, you can do it on your phone. You can do it on your computer. I don't really care where you do it, but just write down the pros and cons of the person. If you see a behavior twice, you want to write it down. So you can be like, on October 15th, this person, got really angry all of a sudden for no reason. And they did it again on October 16th. So there's some issues there when it comes to, a certain trigger. And you write that down. Okay? Because that's a potential red flag. It might be 100% a red flag, but you want to keep up with this. Because remember, you have this thing, oxytocin, and you cannot play around with it. Because I think people need to really understand that their bodies are these big chemical complexes, right? That God has put together, right? And when that oxytocin, which is the love hormone, when it starts to drip, okay, it is going to cover them, right? It is going to, you're not going to see their problems anymore. You're not going to see their mistakes. You're not going to see their shortcomings. So it's in the first 30 to 60 days, really all the way up to 90 days, where you're trying to figure out, okay, is this a good person for me to hang out with? And that's why you have to be paying attention, and you need to be doing notes in the beginning. Because it's going to be real easy for you not to pay attention. And a lot of women, especially, they get into this mode of, oh, I just want to be in love. I don't understand, Jay. Why you putting me through so much trouble? I just want to be in love. Why does it have to be complicated? Well, honestly, it's not complicated if your parents, for the first 18 years of their life, actually filled you with the information that you needed, and then you followed their pattern. Because if your parents were together for at least the first 18 years of your life, and then they worked together and they had a good relationship, okay, you already have the keys of what you need. So now just go live it out. But in our modern society, a lot of us don't have that. And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to fix these problems that were supposed to be given to us by our parents. And we're not here to blame our parents. I just did a video that talked about you should be thankful for your parents. Okay, so I'm not here to tell you to blame your parents. But what I am here to do is my job is to try to get you married, right? So you see it on the screen. So if that's my job, then I have to give you every single tool in order to make that happen. And it is up to you to figure out as you're dating, okay, is this a good man? Is this a good woman? Okay, are they going to love me forever? Are they going to care about me? Are they just here to have fun? Are they here and they're going to destroy me? Are they vindictive? Are they mean? Are they narcissistic? Okay, all these things you have to figure out. But you also have to remember you have a chemical process within you that is going to try to overlook certain things at a certain time. Over time, it doesn't matter if you're, like I said, if you hang out with anyone, man, you might not even like this person, but if you hang out with anyone, like 6 and 7 and 9 months, you will start to like them to a degree. You might not necessarily be physically attractive if you weren't, physically attracted to them before, but you're going to start to like them to a degree if you've been truly hanging out for a very long time. And when I'm talking about hanging out, I'm talking about like 10 plus hours a week, for like, a decent amount of time, like I said, 6 to 9 months. You're going to start to like them a little bit. And some of the things that annoy you in month 1 are not going to really necessarily annoy you as much in month 9, because now oxytocin is going to cover them. The same thing with friendships. Friendships work the same way, right? So I'm giving you these extra keys to pay attention. And this is why every month when you're with someone, you need to reevaluate, is this person going down the path that I'm trying to go down? in order to live the life that I want to live. Okay. And if they're not, you need to pull back. You need to get off that track. You need to let that person go. And a lot of people, they don't like that. And again, this is one of the main reasons why, not just with God, because like I said, the whole reason why God is telling you to be abstinent, okay, and to be a virgin, if you are a virgin, is because he's trying to protect you, right? It's not that he's trying to beat you up and say, oh, you're evil, blah, blah, blah. No, he's basically saying there are emotions attached to sex, right? So he's trying to slow that down. But if you don't care about God, there's emotions attached to sex. So you want to take a long time before you have sex. As long as you possibly can, at least enough time to evaluate the person. Okay, that's why most people are out here saying, wait 90 days. And if you notice, that lines up with the evaluation period. So you have an evaluation period of 3 months. You have a falling in love period of around 6 or 7 months. And then you have a being together forever period of about a year to 18 months. And this is what I would call, consider decent dating / marriage / singles coaches are teaching. And there's a reason for it, because a lot of this goes to a psychological place. Many of it, some of it goes even and lines up with the Bible, not 100%, because in the Bible, people would just get married, right? But you have to kind of understand that God made the body. So God knows how the body works. And when we are studying things from a scientific point of view, all we're doing is looking at God's work and we're saying, oh, there's a cutoff here. There's a cutoff here. Oh, there's another cutoff here. So we're evaluating God's work and we're just figuring out how it works. All right. And remember, you as a person are going to be different. Like some people fall in love very quickly and some people take a long time to fall in love. But the point that I want to make here is I want to make sure that we're paying attention to givers and takers, right? And takers, leave them alone. And unfortunately, about 50% of people out here are takers. Okay. Takers cannot be with takers. Okay. Two takers cannot be in a relationship. That's why takers continue to infiltrate, okay, the singles. They continue to get with the givers because they literally can't be in a relationship. I mean, if two takers are in the relationship, who's making the relationship work? Because, a taker, like I say, if you're a guy, if a woman is dealing with a guy that's a taker, he's on the first date and he's like, man, I ain't paying for nothing. You gonna pay, right? You want to be with me? Or shoot, we can just meet up for coffee. Or we could just go out and walk. I ain't got to do nothing. And if it's a woman, it's almost the same thing. It's like, oh, you ain't going to buy me that. Because I want like two or three drinks. I like to turn it up. Right? So those two people, they can't be in a relationship because nobody's going to do for the other person. And takers are very good at finding givers. All right? And then again, there's levels to all of this. Okay? There's levels. You can have somebody that's a 100% taker. You can have somebody that's a taker and a giver. They kind of bounce back and forth. And then you have people that are 100% givers. All right? So you got to really pay attention to these things. Okay? And again, watch your social media. If people are not speaking in a way that is a little bit more balanced, is a little bit more helpful, okay, I would not encourage you to be watching them because you're putting that up here. And this reflects everything. It's like right now, if I asked you, do you believe that there are good men and or good women in the world? And your answer is, no, these people out here trash. Then again, I would line you up with, okay, who have you been watching? And are you healed from any past pain that you've gone through? Okay? Because lots of people find good people all the time. And what you believe up here does change your perspective. It changes it 100%. Okay? If you know that there's $1 million sitting in Minnesota for you, but you're heading out to LA, As soon as you know there's $1 million, it's going to be, oh, I guess I'm heading to Minnesota, right? So yes, what you think and what you believe does change, you know, the way that you go. So anyway, remember on October 16th, Wednesday, October 16th, we're going to have a live. It's going to be on the community tab in YouTube. But like I say, all you got to do is come out at 7 p.m. because the video will be starting. Also, if you hit the notification bell, even if you've already subscribed, if you hit the notification bell, YouTube will send you, you know, information immediately at that moment and will say, hey, the live is happening. So that's why people are always encouraging you to hit that bell, you know, so to speak. This is how you get the information if you have a YouTuber that you really care about and you want to interact with. Now, if you have YouTubers you really don't want to interact with, you turn off the bell, okay? And you just watch their stuff when it pops up. But anyway, remember that we have that, you know, coming up. And until then, for all the new people, please like, please subscribe if you're interested in marriage, okay? If you're interested in marriage, subscribe. If you're not interested in marriage, don't subscribe. All right? And I'm going to see you all in the very next video.